All right, it's your Food for Thought Friday, but it's Thursday. I'm gonna give you a video version. Uh, so I was talking to a client the other day, and we're doing a workout. They had push-ups in their workout, and as we were going, they did a couple extra push-ups in their set, and they're like, "Oh, I was just ready to go. I could have done. I was gonna do 50, and it was a joke. But the reason they made that joke is because they just done Murph in our seniors group, our 55 and older class, our Legends program, on Friday, and they did that, and accidentally they kind of did like a half Murph, and they had never done that before. They had never been. They weren't training for that. They had just joined the class. They asked if I thought they could do it. I was like, yeah, and we'll scale and modify accordingly, like we always do. That being said, it was a joke, but the reason she could make that joke is because her perspective had changed around what she was capable of, and the reason her perspective changed is because of what she had already put herself through. And so our perspective is based on our experiences. And so if you're not experiencing hard things, when a hard thing comes up, the problem is that you can't prepare, or you're not prepared for that hard thing, because your body, it doesn't matter what the stress is, your body can't really differentiate between stressors. So whether I stress myself out in a workout, whether I stress myself out in my job, an emotional stress with my family or whatever else, like it's hard for our body to delineate between what our body is being stressed by, but the hormonal responses are still the same. And so how we cope with stress is one of those things that we can train and adapt to, right? But if we're not adapting, or if there's not something that's challenging us on a regular basis, then it's hard to adapt. Now, there is an ability to be overstressed. And so I'm not saying constantly stress yourself out, but there is also a benefit to embarking on these stressors. And I was thinking about this while I was working out today, because, it's getting warm in the gym. It's summertime. We have AC in one side. We don't have it in the other side. Just kind of the nature of our building. And it's getting warmer, and there's fans on, but people get hot, and people want the doors open, but it's 85 out, and it makes it 85 in the gym. And people say it's muggy, or they can't breathe, or whatever else. And I was thinking about this because I'm in my garage. Mind you, I have no fans. I do put a heater in here in the wintertime that does not heat much of anything unless my face is right on it. And I'm hot and I'm sweaty. I'm soaked at this point. And it was difficult. It wasn't easy to do. And I just thought to myself, though, but like, if I'm constantly used to working out in the air conditioning, then when things get hot, I don't like it, right? I can't respond well to that stress because I've not experienced that stress. Or when I start breathing hard because something in my life has caused me to raise my heart rate and raise my respiratory rate, like maybe I'm having to chase after my dog or chase after my child from running in the street or whatever else, or maybe there's a fire or what, like, again, like this stuff happens, and none of us can actually plan for these stressors that are going to occur, but the hard stuff is coming, right? And if we never challenge ourselves in certain ways, it's hard for us to cope with those stresses. In 2010, I ran an Ironman. Did it with a couple buddies of mine. One of those guys is a physical therapist down in southern states. He's still a super fit dude. I think he did like 31 days of Murph over the May. I don't recommend that, by the way, but that's what he did. And he's a PT, so he can probably take care of any injuries that he's incurred in the timeline. Another guy is a local gym owner as well. And so we all kind of did it as a bucket list thing. And I did it, and I finished, and I didn't break any records. I finished in like, I don't know, 16:20 or something like that. You have to finish in 17 hours or you are not an Ironman. And I had some trials in that race. My foot started hurting about 19 miles in. I had to still finish the race when I could hardly walk. Ended up finishing and running. I hardly could swim. It took me like 2 hours to finish my swim. We ran out of water and fuel on the bikes. It was a miserable race. And people asked me, it was like the hardest thing you'd ever done. And I said, no. It was the longest workout I'd ever done, but it wasn't the hardest workout. And the reason it wasn't the hardest workout, because by then I had been doing CrossFit for about 3 years, and I had been in more pain in workouts. I had been in more difficult situations where I felt incapacitated in workouts. So that when I got on the bike or I got in the swim, while it was a different stress, it didn't affect my body in the same way or my mental state in the same way, other than I thought I might drown. Because I had stressed my body out in other ways. And I stand by that. Like, the Ironman was not the hardest thing I've ever done. It was the longest thing I'd ever done. And so, and I say that because our perspective of what we are going to come across in our life is all based on our experience. And when we have these experiences, we gain understanding. We gain understanding about ourselves, and we gain perspective of how something affected us and how we might approach something differently as well. And so I would encourage you, like, if you feel like you're skating through life and you feel like your things are easy for you, or you feel like you're bombarded and imploding when something goes wrong, I encourage you to take a second to look at what are you actually doing in your life to challenge yourself. Because I promise you, it is all about the hard stuff that we're putting ourselves through. You'll see it right now. You see people doing the ice baths, or the cold showers, or whatever else. And I stand by this, guys. I'm going to keep my shower at a nice hot temperature every morning. If I go mow the grass and I'm super hot, I might turn it to lukewarm to cool myself off. I'm not taking cold showers. I haven't been in an ice bath since I was like doing recovery stuff in college. I don't know if they do that anymore. That being said, the reason a lot of people are doing that is because they're trying to put themselves in uncomfortable situations. And by putting their body in that uncomfortable situation, it teaches them how to cope with that, how to manage that stressor through breathing, through mental strength, all those pieces, so that when they get out of that tub and they experience life, they're able to handle the difficult situations better. So that's my Food for Thought Friday. I hope this helps. If you got questions, I'd be happy to engage with that. Shoot me a message back. Do hard things because you're teaching your body how to cope with hard things. And when we do that, we can manage that stress better. We gain perspective and we gain experience. See you guys.